Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has urged his supporters to embrace the peace deal brokered between him and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, saying true reconciliation is key to the state's progress. Speaking in Port Harcourt on Saturday, Fubara said, "There is no price too big to pay for peace," adding that he's ready to make a heavy sacrifice to end the political crisis. He acknowledged Wike's past contributions and emphasized that reconciliation is necessary for development and stability. Fubara also assured his supporters that he would not abandon them regardless of the outcome. The statement comes 2 days after he met with President Tinubu in Abuja as part of ongoing efforts to resolve the Rivers political impasse. Chief Jackson Lekojo, you have been very vocal in Rivers State political crisis from the time it started to date. And this is one of the things you've pushed for. But I'm interested to know your take on this current development in Rivers State.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Rivers people that lasting peace is on sight. We are expecting by God's power. This one, according to, if I can quote the governor, he said this time around, we'll be able to maintain the peace properly. But at the same time, I want to congratulate the former governor, Nyesom Wike. I now give him a title, the Jagumolu of Rivers politics. The Jagumolu of Rivers politics, Jagumolu is a Yoruba title for somebody that had gone to war and came back victoriously. Because at a certain time, a lot of people were thinking that Wike would be defeated in this battle. But at the end of the day, he became victorious. And I want to urge him in victory to be magnanimous so that he can handle his former political ally who later become his political
adversaries.
But I think they have come together now. But then, a lot of people are applauding Mr. President for Mr. President to have brokered peace. I don't want to applaud Mr. President. He did not broker any peace.
What happened? What did the president do?
Since Fubara went to surrender. He went to surrender himself to his former boss, which I applauded him too, because ordinarily it wouldn't have degenerated to this extent if what Sim did now, if he was able to do it that time, I don't think the thing would have degenerated to the extent of declaration of state of emergency, brother against brothers, sister against sisters. So, but he realized himself and he went to surrender himself. And after the surrender agreement, Mr. President, they went to the villa, Mr. President witnessed it, confirmed it, and affirmed it. That is what happened. So, we should thank God for Sim Fubara to be remorseful this time around. That's exactly what happened. But at the end of the day, either he surrender or not surrender, let peace come to reign supreme in Rivers State so that there will be tranquility in Rivers State. Then there will be progress and more development.
Now, some persons are of the opinion that the peace is a smoke screen. Now, I guess yesterday on my show was of the opinion that Rivers State is sitting on a keg of gunpowder, and he was saying that with regards to the fact that, you know, a lot of supporters of the suspended governor, you know, were not carried along in this peace deal, and he was of the opinion that this is just a superficial peace, and he's expecting, you know, issues from the quarters of the people whom the governor did not carry along in this peace deal. Do you agree with that perspective that Rivers State is sitting on a keg of gunpowder? This peace is very, very fickle, as it were.
It's not a fragile peace.
Okay.
I see it as a lasting peace. I don't think Rivers State is sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
Right.
Let me come out this way. For example, if I have crisis with some certain persons and I decide to leave my children back home to go to surrender to them. Let me maintain that word. To go and surrender that I am ready to fight. I'm not ready to fight war again. I am tired. I want to work with you. I want us to come together to be one. And some people are saying because I've gone alone, that my children will be aggrieved. It doesn't matter. They might be aggrieved temporarily. It now depends on me to be able to handle them. It depends on Governor Nyesom Fubara to come back home. He has gathered his men, his loyalists. He has abrogated the simplified movement that could cause chaos at the end of the day.
He has abandoned simplified movement.
He abrogated them. He dissolved simplified movement.
Oh, wow. How?
He said it.
Okay.
And he said those people that have printed cap, posters and everything for him for 2027, they should forget about that. He did not send them. And he says something. He said no matter how, he said I know it will be heavy. He said but I will not abandon you people. The most important thing is if he was ready to abandon them, he wouldn't call them to a political family meeting. But for him to have called them, to address them, and to say no matter what, I overheard him. He said there is a fish in their place. They call what do they call it?
It's tilapia.
Tilapia. Yes, atabala. He said atabala said, for you to grow old, to grow big, to be alive, you have to sink your head inside the mud. He made that proverb, and as an African, I know the meaning of that proverb. That means he has to take anything at all. No matter how insulting, no matter how dirty, he has to absorb it in order to maintain peace and tranquility, which is good. So for him to have addressed his followers like this, he has given his followers ray of hope. It is only if he abandons his followers hopelessly,
okay,
that is where we can be saying those people might wake up one morning and erupt. That is why somebody can be thinking that maybe River State is sitting on keg of gunpowder. But so far so good. I don't think
that will be the case.
That will be the case.
Right.
I think both Wike side, both same side, both sides have learned lessons. Even the spectators too, that have been monitoring the event, they have learned lessons. So if everybody had learned lessons, is to forestall further occurrence of it.
All right.
And if there is no further occurrence, there will be peace in River State.
All right, very well. Also joining me on Open Conversation this morning to do justice to the topics today, I have with me Chizi Nyomasla. Chizi Nyomasla is leader ICU Group. He's also a regular on Open Conversation. Good morning, Chizi, and welcome.
Good morning, Larissa. Good morning, my friend.
My dear brother,
A long way.
honestly.
Now, Chizi, what is your take on this position by the governor that he's ready to make heavy sacrifice for peace, and also telling his followers that his supporters that he will not abandon them?
Well, firstly, let me give kudos to them, both Sim and Fubara. The text of friendship is the ability to resolve conflict. And then sacrifice, they say, is a peace offensive. Now, when you want to have peace, you have to make certain sacrifice. I can tell you that if you have a friend that you've never had issues with, just be sure that that friendship is on the cake of gunpowder. It's even that friendship that is not yet texted. It's not a texted friend. Now, having gone this way, but I want to look at the issue from the foundation. I want to talk about those who says they are supporters of sin, that he has left behind. I want to ask, is there anybody in that meeting that are not part of the crisis? That's the first thing these persons are not part of the crisis. The fact that you are supporting me, you're saying, hey, does not mean that you are part of the crisis. I mean, they went to the root of the crisis. I was telling people that the mistake we're making is that we're thinking that Wike can just stand up, resolve with SIM, and the 27 lawmakers will line up. That's one. No, that crisis went beyond just Wike to even the 27 lawmakers. Don't forget that they are giving him an impeachment notice. And they don't believe they are stakeholders in the whole crisis. And so to go there, it looks like when people who went there to resolve their issues are family in the first instance. So what is happening now is that those who are not families are not the ones complaining. Because in one of the Sacr stations, I said to them that what has happened is that they have blocked their ATM. Because that's actually where they are eating fact. Because people are trying to eat fact out of this crisis. That's why they are complaining. Count the personnel, the quote unquote the VIPs that are involved in the same angle. I will shock you that 90% of them were those who were against him becoming governor. So I could also tell you or accuse them, without any. I do not have any apologies to that. I will accuse them that they are the one who is working against him. I can tell you that. Because you see, when somebody has said to you that I do not, it's like, okay, for instance, somebody does not want you to have a baby, like you are married to a particular, we're Africans, you are married to a particular family, and somebody does not want you to have a baby, and just all of a sudden, you had the baby, and the person became the lover of that baby. You have to be careful with that person. Mm-hmm. These persons said so, they left Wike not for anything about Wike.
Yes.
They left Wike because Wike brought in SIM.
Yes.
And then just when they saw problem between SIM and Wike, they now went and backed off SIM. What did they want to do? They tried to make SIM commit atrocities upon atrocities upon. Let me take for instance. There is somebody. That's why I know that when emotions is involved in a film, their professionalism is put to question if you're not careful.
Yes.
Danagogo, the SSG, the former SSG, is a man I respect. Is a lawyer that you should respect. He's a brilliant person. But I'm beginning to find out that he lacks some level of intelligence. Or he is being crafty in what he's doing. Because there are things he did that I know that Danagogo will advise against that, naturally speaking. But this is the Danagogo who wanted to be governor, who feel it was his right that the governor, if the governor is going to leave around, it should be his right, and of course it should be the Calabaris right. And then he's there as SSG, and then he's seeing the man who has taken over being governor, who will stay there for the next 8 years, that is if it was smooth, and then that will mean that he may not, given the age and given the fact that it's also a riverine, he may not go for the next governor. That will mean the next 24 years, and 24 years, who knows what will happen? We're not God. Don't you think you should be working against the person? That's my problem. Don't you think certain advices that they are giving, because I was wondering here why they will allow him recognize a 3-man or 4-man forum as assembly, and a lawyer of that standard will be there sitting and will not tell.
But the governor also had legal team. He had persons like Femi Falana.
That is what the other
Is
time.
Femi Falana a Rivers man?
No. Femi Falana is Ajib, any government in power. Femi Falana is not. They want to. You see. Let me. The problem we're having is that we're having names like Femi Falana. Somebody said something, I think on this show. He said, "Look at the whole Femi Falana said this, and it becomes an authority." I said, it's not an authority. Mm-hmm. It's not an authority. The authority is a court. When the court rules, Femi Falana is just an opinion. Just like any other person should have an opinion. People, they are working for their money because Femi Falana is paid on a daily basis on every court they go. So there should be multiple cases. There should be wherein he will be paid. And no senior advocate of Nigeria is paid less than 15 million in a case like this. So don't you think there should be multiple cases coming in, and that will blow in his chambers? So for me, Femi Falana, we should be talking about people who are here who wanted to have,
who are stakeholders, as it were.
Who are stakeholders, as it were, because those people didn't have an opportunity of being the stakeholders at this point. I tell you something. Let me tell you something. It is difficult. Check this thing. How come that this is a bad case? how come you still have a lawyer? How come, if it's just about profession, how come you already know, even the lawyers will tell, no wonder you see that the lawyers, when the court gives the judgment, finally, the same lawyer who has been defending that field will stand up and say, as God, court pleases. Why is he saying as the court pleases? And we'll go back. There is this something I said here one time, a lawyer friend, we were talking and he said, I laughed like, he said that the lawyer went to court with a bad case, he already knew that's a bad case. And then he lost at the court of first instance. And so the client asked him, what do we do next? He said, let's go to appeal. And so they went to appeal, and he lost in appeal. He said, okay, what do we do next? He said, let's go to Supreme Court. And then when they went to Supreme Court and he lost his guy, he said, what do we do? He said, just pay me my money and you go back and relax. And so, because, that's what he's looking for. That thing, Femi Falana didn't do it for free. They came and consulted him. And then he needed to just try out his distance. So let's go here. Then there's one case here going up. There's one case. The whole thing is until you open up your place, externals will not come.
Right.
No externals will come. So even for Nyesom Wike and for these persons, look, this reconciliation, whether it's cause surrender or all of that. If you go back, for instance, if somebody is having issues in his family, and then you go back to say, I'm coming back. In my village, if you come back, you could just buy, one goat and one palm wine and all of that and say, I'm back. And then they say, okay, finally from today. That means the entire children is back to the place. Because when they ostracize you in my place, your entire family, your wife, your children will leave the place. So when you come back to reconcile, everybody is reconciled. So what the quote unquote, the SIM movement, simplify movement should do that in each of the ward. And I think that's what Wike and all of that should advise. That in each of the ward, there should be a program that will carry all of them along together. But what I will advise them is that there are persons whose stock in trade is to cause issue. Those people shouldn't be at the center of governance, so that these things can continue. But for peace has come to Rivers State. It's just that they have stopped the ATM of certain persons and they will shout.
And for you, it was a family issue?
It was purely a family issue.
All right. Hi, Chief Jackson, you have something to say?
Just to kind of corroborate what he has said. You see, this thing, like I have said earlier, this thing wouldn't have degenerated to this extent. You understand? I respect Governor Nyesom Wike a lot. Former Governor Nyesom Wike, I respect him a lot, though I disagree with him in his political approach, particularly at the federal. But he said something when he was at Abalama, and that thing pricked my mind. And I said, this is a man. He said just what my brother had just said now. He said those people that were fighting with you and against me in order to get this ticket and become the governor. He said they failed, and eventually they still kept to themselves. But immediately crisis broken out, they took side. He said, are you telling me that those people will advise him the proper way? Wike said it at Abalama. Just like what my brother sister just said now. So the mistake, most of these people push him because they believe that if Wike is still overseeing the whole thing, if Wike still has contribution, still has advice, most of them will not be relevant. They became political giants suddenly. Those people that were not known beyond their words, they became political giants fighting for Sim. Even when Sim is saying, hey, it's my boss, it's my oga, they are still saying fight on. Just like Caesar said now. I think they blocked their ATM card and even the POS is not available again. A lot of them seems to be very careful listening to them. Those are the people that will be looking for one way or the other to foment another trouble, because their own gain is divide and rule. That's their strategy, divide and rule strategy. let this man go this way, let this man go this way, let them come to the center and begin. Some of them have locked down the little business centers they have because the new business center will be open for them in crisis.
Now, I find this position quite interesting, Chief Jackson Lekojo, because if you recall, on the March 18, the moment the state of emergency was declared, all the elder statesmen, the people who have been quite vocal, you know, during this crisis in support of the suspended governor, everybody went silent. I can't remember one statement by any of them from that day till now. Not one statement. In fact, it's on record that the people who have been hitting the streets back to back were women, who at some point were printing T-shirts, wearing uniform. On Monday they wear white, Wednesday they wear red and black, as it were. In fact, at some point we have pro and anti protest on the streets every day, you know, in Rivers State. But all these elder statesmen, all these supporters, as it were all silent from the day that state of emergency was declared due date. Now, for you, do you see that as a clear indication of their interest or where they stand exactly in this crisis? And would you say that the governor was a proxy in the war? Because, I mean, some persons are of the opinion that the governor did not carry his supporters along in this reconciliation process.
You see, during this period, I saw that the numbers of elder statesmen rose in River State.
During the crisis?
Some people that were not known beyond their community became elder statesmen during this crisis. Elder statesmen that from their local government, they don't know anybody beyond their local government. And they will tell him, no problem, we will solve this problem for you. I approached 2 or 3 persons. And I told them clearly, I said, you are saying you will solve this problem for him. I said, somebody like me could even do better than 20 of you. Because I know people. Even in the presidential villa, I am known. And I know people there. But most of the people that do not know people in their local government council, they came up to say, we will fight this battle for you. Go ahead. But assuming Sim tried to look back small, those people that say, go ahead, we will follow you, assuming he cared to look back, he wouldn't have seen those people. They have disappeared. You understand? We are mobilizing people now. We are mobilizing. Are they mobilizing with their money? A lot of them abandoned their farms, because they've gotten a new farm. That is not that what the farm is producing is raw cash. You understand? Those are the people. Let me not mention names. When this matter happened, I was on almost all the television stations in Nigeria and radio stations in newspapers. I was lambasting Mr. President, not his person, but his actions. Just like you have said, how many of these people they do hear their voice, even in their community? How many of them?
So does that give credence to what Chize had said earlier and what you said earlier that the FCT minister said, and you said it's got that he said that these people were advising him wrongly in order to push him into the ditch? But, so I'm trying to marry both.
Yeah, but Chize said something.
Okay.
And I said it again. He said, specifically Danagogo. Danagogo wanted to be governor. And if there was no crisis, possibly Sim would have been very sure of 8 years. And after that 8 years, maybe the power will shift from Riverine. So it won't be his. You understand? People like Abi Ezekibo, power will no longer be there. People like Osin Okpara, maybe age. Ule Secondus. What's the name of former 6-month governor?
Celestine
Omega, maybe age and others. Do you think these people are happy? There is no amount of contract that can be given to them that will satisfy them They want to be there. And they are looking at you. Will this young guy leave the place and old man to come back again? No. So these people were not happy. There are two names I didn't want to mention. I approached them. I said, I know you people are very close to Nyesom Fubara as governor. I said, look at this. Take this route to go and appeal to the conscience of Mr. President. Protest will not do anything. You know what? Their response to me is that, now you know, no be small thing where we they get, no be in the chop, the bigger thing. I said, and those are the people that Nyesom Fubara inside in his dream will believe that they are for him. So how many of them were for him? Even during that crisis, I think Nyesom Wike was still for him, better than most of the supporters he claimed he had. Now, we should appreciate God. Wike should be magnanimous in victory and in surrendering. Nyesom must have learned a lot of lessons. He should know those people
who are for him.
At times, there are people you see as your enemies. They are actually your friends. And those your enemy will be the one to come and communicate to you. Say, be careful of this. They are chasing away those people away from you so that they can penetrate you in order to harm you. That is it.
All right, very well. Chizi, before we move on to the next story, you wanted to say something.
Yes, I wanted to say that, especially, this angle that you brought, especially during the emergency room. You remember that one time I was saying here that all of these people who say, if you do this, this will happen, if you do... I said they will be in the other side working for the other person.
Good.
If that happened.
I recall that statement.
I said so, that they will be... Look, as soon as the emergency rule was declared, all of them left River State. All.
They left River State.
They left River State and went to Abuja, Lagos, and just relaxed. So they left him, even seeing wearing meeting with them again. Because they couldn't even answer. They weren't coming. Look at these things. Let's be practical. Even our own Oga, who is Atiku, who did he support in River State? Farah. The Australians, all of them, they were supporting Farah for PDP as against him. Have we forgotten? So when they brought Sim, this was okay. No, those who were with Wike left Sim. I said they're not going to work for the person. And then they started doing what they wanted to do. So when this issue came out, they started cashing out. And I can tell you, like what he said, since he's a little bit mature person, let me follow his route. He called me, I will mention him. Because they told me that, that this boy left 280 billion in the account. Okay, what is the 280 billion now doing? So that's why you were fighting with him. Because he wanted to share it. And this man has realized, he said, don't forget that this is not the first quote-unquote peace accord. Remember that before all of this, there were the 8-point agenda that all of them said no. That the man went and signed. That agreement was initiated by Sim, the same way he did this. Quote me, it wasn't Wike, it wasn't even, it was Sim who initiated that issue. Went to Lagos to meet with Wike and initiated that to the president. And after they wrote this thing, somebody read it, and as soon as they came back to this place, and they found out, if this thing happens, we're no longer in charge. Part of this agreement is that they should bring back all of them, we're not in charge of this person. Immediately they said, no, don't agree. They went to court. We are going to go to courts to do that. And these are elders. Like I said, one of the texts of an elder, my people will say that an elder will not be in the house and goat will deliver in an ordinary place. That's what my people says. So one of the texts of an elder is that these are persons who should have admonition had called Wike and Sim and come together in River State.
Yes.
What would have expected is that there was a peace accord in Sir Odele's place. In His Excellency's Rufus at the Judge's place. In His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan's place. Around us here. In the late Cloud House. That's what we would have expected.
Yes. Like I said, there was the first peace accord. Don't forget that it was Nyesom Fubara who went to meet the president for that first one. And so when they came back, these persons went to court and said, no, don't accept it, don't accept it. Because they found out that, oh, our business is collapsing. They're shutting down our store. Our ATM is being blocked by this whole thing. And so they came. But I said, Abedisho, they now begin to masquerade as elders of River State. Abedisho, if you were elder, what is the responsibility of an elder? Was to call these persons together to say, look, I wish that I was having an elder on national district person say, come, please come, let's settle this thing. And then they say, Wike didn't come, or Sim didn't come. Then that's when we know that we had an elder who was talking like that. All of a sudden, all we are seeing is elders just woke up and now began to go around Sim, you know, some elders, okay, they are here. So I now ask question, what should have been here is that, oh, there was a peace accord in Peter Odele's house, or Sarufo Sarah George's house, or His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan's house, that they didn't accept in the first place. So they went back to that peace. So the president would have been the president would have been calling the president to say, okay, what do we do here, or what can't we do here? So it was even Wike who is looking for peace. I tell you why is it Wike that is looking for peace. I know 80% of the assembly members. I mean, we are friends. Of course, you know that even the speaker was my classmate. I know 80% of. I can tell you that the assemblies were ready to impeach Sim Fubara, if not for Wike. If I think the assembly intervened, it was Wike. They said, please hold on, please hold on, please hold on, because he knows that. And each time those boys went to Wike, what they will tell Wike is, look at the person you brought for us. And do you know what? Even those people working with Sim, they call Sim this boy. I mean, those elders that you think, they don't even respect him as a leader. So I think that they are the one who is in problem. And so for us, they should leave this family alone to go back to their family. And if they feel offended, like what I told Love FM the other day, and if they feel offended that they have come together, they should go and form their own family and fight with the party and win.
You're right.
Each time you say, oh, you are giving Wike, to do this, you are saying Wike is very powerful. That's what you are saying. You are considering the fact that he's very powerful, because you cannot also go and bring up your own nominees and make that person win. You want to ride on the one that Wike has made win. And they are waiting, in 2007 down. Anybody that they bring and they win, they will wait, and then they will now begin to go, can you be this? Can you be an Ogoni man? Or can you be an Ejoman? Can you be this? Can you be this? Do you know that for more than 20 years, there has not been any time Rivers State has degenerated to ethnicity than this period. Not one day. And it's very unfortunate.